I like to start each class taking a moment to ground into ourselves, to find our center, and to notice the qualities that we feel in our mind, in our body, in our emotional being. When we begin to look at Ayurveda, noticing these qualities is what helps us take our health into our own hands. So take a few breaths and notice what you feel in your own body and mind. You might feel tightness or relaxation. You might feel heavy or anxious. You might feel hot or cold. Just notice without judgment and breathe into any areas that might feel tight or numb or uncomfortable. This is usually where I do a group check-in, and since I'm not present with you today, we're going to skip this place. Briefly, I will tell you who I am. My name is Rebecca Pellerin. I began my investigation into Ayurveda unexpectedly at a meditation retreat with my guru, Sri Anandima. A friend of mine, someone I had just met actually, noticed I was getting a glass of cold water and pointed out that maybe I should add some warm water because that would be the Ayurvedic thing to do. Well, that was the first time I had ever even heard the term Ayurveda. I did not know what it meant, but I went home and looked it up. And within a week, I had signed up for the Kripalu Ayurveda Health Coach certification program that would take up the next 10 months of my life. It was a very intensive program, and it would take over my life for the next several years and continues to be a big part of my life. I always said when I first started studying Ayurveda that if I used it for nothing professionally, then I would use it merely to raise a family and to take care of my own health. And that in itself has had so much value. So I call this class Life Habits 101, a dynamic conversation with Ayurveda. Instead of talking a lot about the doshas, which are very important and we can certainly, I'm sure we'll touch upon them here and there, but I like to talk about the ways in which we can implement the values of Ayurveda, the principles of Ayurveda in our day-to-day life. Very simple things we can do to improve the quality of our life. And I find that to have more of an impact right at the onset when we can really dig into understanding the doshas better throughout that process as time goes on. So the first most important thing about Ayurveda is to learn how to properly say it. I've heard certainly many different attempted pronunciations of the word. It's not a familiar word, so that's understandable. So here's a fun little puzzle that I'm sure many of you remember playing as a child, where I'm going to line up some pictures together to help visualize how we say the word. This part's a little tricky. That's a clipboard that says survey on it. So this is a survey. So here we have an I, and then we have a survey minus that S and ending in da. And of course the answer is Ayurveda, Ayurveda. What is Ayurveda? In Sanskrit, every word is made up of multiple sounds that have many different meanings, but this is perhaps the most common understanding of the word of Ayurveda. Ayu means life or vital power, can also mean prana, which is the chi or vital power, and Veda, which means science or knowledge. Therefore, Ayurveda is most commonly understood as the science of life. It is an ancient Indian science, over 5,000 years old. It was discovered by the rishis. These were very wise men who sat meditating in caves on mountaintops and who received this information directly from the universe or from the consciousness which makes up the universe. It is a sister science to yoga. It goes hand in hand with yoga. So, what can Ayurveda do for you? It can unlock your full potential. Your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual capacity can be improved to 100%. It will uproot the weeds in your life, creating space to flourish. It will unleash your inner healing power. One thing we learn in Ayurveda, very important basic principle in Ayurveda, is that perfect health is our most natural state. And it will upgrade your life to superhero status. Ayurveda is the science of life itself, the traditional natural healing system that evolved out of the yogic teachings of India. It contains a comprehensive set of health practices, from diet and herbs to surgery, body work, energy work, psychology, and meditation. It encompasses all activities of body and mind, and I've added here, and spirit, from a perspective of consciousness. This is a quote by Dr. David Frawley, who has some great resources, books, and whatnot about Ayurveda. Looking through the lens of Ayurveda, we understand the world as whole and interconnected. Mind, body, and spirit are interdependent. The macrocosm mirrors the microcosm, and vice versa. The external rhythm reverberates the internal rhythm. Every living being is meant to live in accordance with this fluctuating, pulsating, life-giving rhythm. Dis-ease is the result of losing one's connection to the rhythm of our nature. When soul, senses, and mind are in harmony with internal peace, optimal health is achieved. This is a quote from one of the sacred texts, one of the primary texts of Ayurveda by Sushruta. So how do we tap in to the cosmic rhythm? Dinacharya. This means daily routine. These are micro choices that have the power to change your life. Dinacharya, or a daily routine, can boost your immune function, activate digestion, cleanse the senses. When we have clear perception from cleansing the senses, we have a clear mind. It will calm the nervous system. There's no better way to calm an excited or overactive nervous system than through routine, through a daily, predictable routine. It's very grounding. And the Dinacharya will also nourish the spirit. Dinacharya is the practice of being aligned with the daily cycle of nature. It has our alignment with the cosmic rhythms. You can see here someone sleeping out under the stars. Something that we deal with here in our modern world is schedules and stimulations to our nervous system and to our sensory input that contradict our natural cycles, really throw our hormones out of whack, throw our nervous systems out of whack, throw our sleep systems out of whack. We have all these devices, we have music, we have overnight work shifts, we have lights on long after the sun has set. We're looking at screens when we're laying in bed late at night. And these all really interrupt our natural daily cycle, which is meant to mirror the cosmic cycle, the universal cycles, the earth cycles. The nitty-gritty. So ultimately, true freedom and bliss come from discipline and awareness. This concept took me a long time to understand, and it still challenges me every day because I often gravitate towards spontaneity. I think of freedom and bliss as, la-di-da, I can do whatever I want, whenever I want. I feel the power of the moment. And that has its place. It certainly has its beauty. But true freedom comes from a daily discipline that acts like a channel for our prana, our chi, to flow. And this channel allows us to have ultimate health, healthy spirit, healthy body, healthy mind. And within that place, we can act according to our true desires, which are often clogged up by senses that are being overexposed to various things, foods that are unhealthy, media. So we'll talk more about this concept and how this can play out in our day-to-day lives. But first, learn from the Masons. The keystone in an arch structure is the load-bearing stone. It is the one part of that structure that holds the entire weight. It is the most important stone of the structure. And when we look at our daily routine as a structure, we can find that one keystone habit that will awaken our own rhythm and support our own daily routine. It's that one thing that we do that allows the rest of our day to flow naturally. For many people, it's getting up at a certain time in the early morning hours. It might be meditation. It might be having a dance party with your children before work and school. It might be having that delicious cup of herbal tea that really kickstarts your digestion and awakens your mind and makes you make better choices for food and health throughout the rest of the day. So I highly encourage that everybody here ponders what could be their keystone habit. Maybe you already have one. And if you don't, maybe experiment with some different things and see what can be that one thing you do every day. Maybe it's a walk. Maybe it's yoga. Maybe it's a little extra breathing in the morning, some nice pranayama. Find it and see how that will impact the rest of your daily flow. By practicing a set of habits that serve our core well-being, we create a structure that allows prana, this is our vital force, to flow and our spirit to flourish. It is from this state which true health emerges. Usually when I have a live class, this is where we take a break, have some homemade chai and cookies. I'm sorry to tease you here, and I wish I could answer your questions, but certainly I will provide my email here at the end, or I will send it all over to Allison so that she can send any questions you may have to me. I'd be glad to answer them. So this is where we get to the practice. How do we do all that we've been talking about, where do we begin? Awake. And this, in this case, is somewhat of a double meaning. It's both, in Ayurveda, not only are we awakening our spirits, we're awakening to our true selves, but we're also awakening in the morning, preferably early in the morning. Awaken just before sunrise to experience the most prana and peace in your day. The very early morning is precious. In Sanskrit, it is called Brahma Muhurta, that is, the hour of God. The Ashtanga Hridayam, another Ayurvedic text, says the healthy person should get up during Brahma Muhurta to protect his life. This is no small statement. This is huge. This means that by getting up early in the morning, we have the power to protect our lives. There is a wonderful, pure, creative energy that we have access to at this time. My teacher, Dr. Claudia Welch, who has some great resources, I'll include that in the information I send along. She has a great website, drclaudiawelch.com. She says Ayurveda prescribes 99 important things to do each day, and 98 of them are done in the morning. So the morning is extremely important. Begin the day by cleansing and clearing the senses, the body, and the mind. Channels that are clear allow prana to flow, thus optimizing our vitality and longevity. In Ayurveda and yoga, we talk about having these channels in the body. They're called nadis. Nadi also means river, and it can be a channel in the body. These are both physical channels, like our arteries, our digestive tract. They're also subtle channels. There are actually 72,000 of these channels. They interconnect at the chakras, but they also have many different interconnecting points throughout the whole body. These channels need to be clear in order for prana to flow to all the important areas of our body, both our pranic or energetic body and our physical body. And we can support this each day by taking these 4 steps: cleanse, hydrate, eliminate, and meditate. Stick what? Where? In Ayurveda, we're often known to put random, or not random, but strange or unfamiliar items in strange places in our body. Starting out with the tongue in the morning, a really great practice is to scrape the tongue. There is a particular item used for this. It's a tongue scraper. You can get one made from stainless steel at Banyan Botanicals. I'll include that in the resource sheet as well. Or you can get a copper tongue scraper. I think you could probably even find them on Amazon. By scraping the tongue, we clear toxins, support digestion, and awaken the taste buds. The tongue in Ayurveda is said to reflect all the other areas of the body. So similar to how feet and reflexology correlate to all the different parts of the body, the tongue does so in Ayurveda. By examining the tongue, we can notice the health of the body. And also by cleaning and caring for the tongue, we can improve the state of our body. Teeth. We can use bitter and astringent herbs to brush our teeth. This is much better than very sweet and sometimes, I might say, toxic toothpaste that are often available at the regular pharmacies. Astringent herbs and bitter herbs are antibacterial, and they will help tighten gums. They have a very positive effect on our whole mouth environment. And as some of you may know, that our dental health is correlated not only with a cleaner mouth, but it's also correlated with better health throughout the rest of our body, including cardiac health. So take care of your teeth. You can also swish sesame oil or any other kind of You could use sesame oil or coconut oil and swish that oil in your mouth to 5 to 10 minutes. It's not the most pleasant experience the first time you try it, but you can get rather used to it, and it can really help detoxify and move some things out of your mouth. Always spit that oil out when you're done, preferably in the trash or outside. You can rinse your eyes out with rose water or triphala. The eyes are a place where heat can collect in our bodies. In Ayurveda, we see them as one of the seats of pitta, where fire can build up. And we want to keep our eyes nice and cool. So rose water is very astringent and cooling, and it's so refreshing, especially on a hot summer day, to spray your face with some rose water, and then you can drip some into your eyes and rinse them out. We can use neti pot to cleanse our nostrils. This will actually have a cleansing effect on all of the sinus system. It's wonderful fall through spring to help prevent getting colds. It's also great if you tend to get seasonal allergies and or sinus infections regularly. It's really helpful in not only preventing sickness, but once you get a cold, it's great in helping your body overcome that cold much more quickly. This is a salt water with warm water concoction that you pour through your nose. The first time I tried this, I felt like I might be drowning, but I promise you it gets much better, and it's actually very pleasant. You don't notice it at all once you get accustomed to it. It's important to follow this, the neti pot with nasya. This is a medicated oil. You could also use just a plain sesame oil and sort of massage it on the inside of your nostrils. This prevents the sinuses and nostrils from drying out from that saline or salt water mixture, which just tends to have a drying effect, especially in the winters here in Maine. A very grounding practice that you can include in your daily routine is to massage your body with warm sesame oil. Use long, slow strokes on your limbs, and use circular motion on your joints. And you can use a circular motion around your abdomen as well. Bathing is also important, not only for general hygiene, but it also symbolizes the purification of the soul. And I'm sure many of you have noticed that you just tend to feel better after a good shower or bath. So once you've cleansed, then you want to hydrate. Drink warm water to get things moving. Add a squeeze of lemon to support the liver. And if you tend towards constipation, drink copious amounts of warm water until you feel the urge. Which brings us to eliminate. It's the most important thing you'll do all day. This is a part of not only supporting a healthy digestion, it's also ensures that our channels are clear. And finally, now that we've cleansed and hydrated and eliminated, meditate. This is the time where you can take just a few moments or maybe a whole hour, whatever will fit with your schedule, to sit, breathe, notice. This is the easiest time of day to meditate. Remember, it's still very early in the morning. This time of day is said to be calm, like a lake. I live here on an island off the coast of Maine, and anytime I've gone out on the water, gotten in a skiff to go to the mainland, and before sunrise, it seems that the ocean is always flat, calm at that time of day. And that to me really reflects the state of my mind at that time of day. Everything just seems more clear, cool, calm, peaceful. So meditating at this time is easier. And again, for many people, it's that keystone habit. You take just those 5 minutes or 20 minutes to meditate at this time of day, it will allow the rest of your day to flow more fruitfully. You'll make better decisions throughout that day. Meditation gives clarity of mind. It calms the nervous system and it connects us to the divine. It is the doorway to bliss. So after we have awoken, now it's time to move. Movement equals prana. This will invigorate your body, activate the parasympathetic nervous system. This is our calming aspect of our nervous system. This is the rest and digest mode that allows us to not only better digest our food, but better digest our experiences, our thoughts, our day. Clears the channels. Movement is not only good for clearing our physical channels, but also our energetic channels. It quiets the mind. Many people will notice that if they go for a run or a walk, they're finally able to unlock the solution to a problem that they've been working on, or let go of some anxieties or stresses that have been building up. Of course, movement stimulates digestion. So if you had a hard time with eliminate, you may want to get some movement in and then go back to the elimination step. It boosts your metabolism, so it ignites not only the fire in your belly, which helps you digest food, but it also boosts the fire, your cellular fire. This is the digestive capacity of our cells to transform. This is our mitochondria doing their jobs to produce energy. And it also activates the lymphatic system, which is so important to process and cleanse the body and keep things clear and moving. Exercise should never exceed 50% of your capacity. Now, this may vary from person to person. There are some people who may actually benefit from a higher capacity exercise, and some may benefit from even lower. But to try to keep this in mind, we don't need to be doing some high intensity workouts or Bikram, hot yoga, wild and crazy, Ironman contests every day. We could actually just do some gentle movements that will better support our body. Breath work can be very stimulating to the system. There's some really great pranayama exercises, and some you could learn from your local yoga teachers. Will have some good pranayama exercises for you. Walking, yoga, tai chi, qigong, swim. These are all ways that we can gently get the body moving and create heat in the body, but without overexhausting our adrenals. And after we've been awake in the early morning hours, we've moved, we've stimulated digestion, we've gotten things going, now it's time to eat. Food in Ayurveda is so much more than caloric intake. It is medicine. It is love. It is health. It is consciousness. It is really important to eat pure, fresh foods. If it comes in a box, is frozen, or comes through a drive-through window, it has little or no prana. Prana is radiant energy. Don't eat dead food. Eat radiant food. Your life depends upon it. But wait, there's more. It's not just what we eat, it's how we eat. Smell your food, touch it, look at it, admire it, get those digestive juices flowing. I've heard people say that digestion begins in the mouth, and this may be true, but I believe digestion actually begins even before the food gets in your mouth. Digestion begins the moment you walk into a restaurant and smell some delicious food cooking. It begins the moment your eyes lay on whatever it is you're about to eat, and your brain starts to register the different colors and textures that it's going to take in. And it starts communicating to your stomach and to your pancreas and to your liver, to your all the different parts of your body that are going to need to chew, break down, and transport this food and transform it into usable energy for your cells. Take a moment for silent gratitude or prayer before you eat. Eat slowly, attentively, peacefully, and with good company. Eat just enough and only when hungry. There's one way, a little test in Ayurveda to know if you're truly hungry, or if you've actually truly digested your previous meal, is based on your burps or your belches. When you have a clear belch, that means you don't taste anything from your previous meal, then you have fully digested that last meal. But if you have a belch and you still taste any of that food that you last ate, it is too soon to eat again. If you do eat again, that food will not be properly digested. It will begin to ferment in your digestion or your digestive tract, and it will become what's known as ama in Ayurveda, or toxins. And this is something that we definitely want to avoid. When you're done eating, your stomach should be 1/3 food, 1/3 liquid, and 1/3 air. I like to think of this as I would a campfire or a wood stove. You want just the right amount of wood, just the right amount of air, and just the right amount of fire. Too much of any of them would produce a disaster. The fire would get too hot and burn up all the wood before actually producing enough heat to warm your home. Too much air would blow the fire out and you just have some cold logs. Too many logs would prevent the fire from building up at all, and again you'd have logs but no heat. So we really need to balance this out and allow our stomach to have the right environment to digest our food. And perhaps one of the best tips I've ever received came from Dr. John Douillard, and that was to rest for 10 or 20 minutes after each meal. Not just to rest, but to rest on your left side, laying down for about 20 minutes after a meal. Of course, this would be easier if we honored the siesta here in America as they do in some other countries. But that midday break after a heavy meal can really help your body to get that digestion going. If you ever have a heavy meal, by the way, I would recommend trying that, laying on your left side, and notice how quickly things start to move and lighten up and feel better. When diet is wrong, medicine is of no use. When diet is correct, medicine is of no need. This is an ancient Ayurvedic proverb. And finally, after waking up, moving, eating fresh, pure foods, now comes perhaps the most important step of all. Notice. Notice how you feel. Take time for a daily self-check-in. Meditate, if you haven't already. Be present to your body and mind. Take some breaths. Notice where they go in your body. Scan for what feels different. Notice any qualities that may have changed in your body since you woke up or since the day before. And listen to your body. By taking the time for this check-in, we can notice what might need to change. If we feel better, we'll be reinforced in making good decisions for the next day. If we feel worse, we'll know what maybe we need to change to promote better health in our body. And these 4 steps that I recommend for your Ayurvedic lifestyle, awake, move, eat, and notice, happen to create an acronym that is quite fitting. Amen. Just to review, awake just before sunrise, cleanse, hydrate, eliminate, and meditate. Move, because activity and breath increase prana flow. Eat, because pure, fresh foods support longevity and vitality. And notice, listen to your body, be present and aware. But with this acronym, Amen, we're brought to one final aspect of Ayurveda that is very important and can be incorporated into our daily routine or our dinacharya. Kindling one's spiritual nature cultivates healing qualities, such as surrender, gratitude, humility, and generosity. Kindle your own spirituality through prayer, contemplation, ritual, ceremony, and service to others to promote profound peace and to generate healing from within. Amen. Believe in something greater than oneself can have a profound impact on daily life. The mundane becomes sacred. The ordinary becomes extraordinary. Thoughts to remember. The body wants to be in a natural state of health, but we have to allow it. We cannot resist it. By adopting a daily routine, we allow our body to find its natural state of health. By reuniting with the daily rhythms of the universe, we allow our body to fall back into its normal state of health. Self-care is preliminary. Perfect health is our most natural state. And true freedom and bliss come from discipline and awareness. I would love and welcome for any of you to send questions along through Allison to me. I will happily answer any emails that any of you might have. And I will be sending resources along for Allison to share with all of you so that you can look into the different aspects of Ayurveda more deeply. There is so much information out there. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to share some of this with you all today. And I hope I get to meet you in person in the future. Thank you.